Hello beautiful yogi, Veronique here with our February tutorial video. I'm here to demo our three-legged dog with option to have hips squared and hips opened. So I'll show you from both sides so you can see where the alignment of the hips are. This is a fairly common transition in vinyasa yoga classes, and oftentimes there are different variations, and so I thought it might be helpful to see where the hips are and some helpful alignment cues so that you can play with this at home, and then you can have a chance to try it out in class as well. So traveling with me onto the yoga mat, so coming to find your downward facing dog, I'll actually show you sideways so you can see what's happening in the shape. So you'll find a nice downward facing dog. Bless you. From your downward facing dog, it might sometimes be nice to bring your big toes together to touch to begin with, and you'll inhale, raise a leg up. So oftentimes in the space of wanting to get the leg higher, oftentimes we'll see people open their hips off, but there's a lot to be gained from keeping the hips nice and squared, and it strengthens both of the legs quite a lot. From here, if you are cued to bend the knee and open up the hip, we're looking to square the shoulders off and actively push the earth away and guide the heart towards the standing leg. The more you ground down into the palms, the more you can actually get some release from the wrists and find that opening of the hips. So trying to find that opening of the hips while keeping the shoulders squared. So there's a lot of activity happening. So just to show you from a different point of view, from your downward facing dog shape, and this will be a little bit easier on the yoga mat, I'll have more traction here. You'll inhale, extend the leg up. And then just notice what's happening. Notice if you start to pitch forward, try to push the ground away to really send the heart back in space. And then from here, you can start to bend that elevated leg, releasing your heart towards the standing leg and actively push the earth away. Good, and then I'll just show you from the other side. So Barry likes to help out. You'll ground down through your palms. And sometimes it's more accessible to find this in a short down dog shape as well. Raising one leg. If you have a wall there, sometimes it's nice to press against something just to find what it feels like for the hips to be squared. And then bending that knee, opening up through the hip. So there's a nice release that happens the more you trust yourself to open up and press the earth away more. So there's a downward action of the heart moving back in space, really actively pressing the earth away. And then you're trying to ground that heel that's onto the earth towards the ground as well. So there's a lot of counteracting points happening simultaneously. So oftentimes the way that this will happen in a flow class, it'll be from maybe a warrior or a crescent lunge or something like that, coming down, exhale, planting the palms, and then lifting that front foot up and back. So I'll just show you that transition because this is cued a lot, and it'll really help to more fluidly transition from one shape to another. So you'll come to find, we'll just bring the right foot forward, finding that crescent lunge shape. So any variation you love with your arms is great. So you'll inhale here. As you exhale, release the hands to the earth. So this transition requires a lot of core strength. It requires a lot of just understanding how to mobilize the length of your limbs. If the ground is far away, if you can't fully plant your palms here, I do encourage you to practice with 2 blocks on the lowest setting under your palms so that they're nice and stable. If that's not accessible, the modification is to lower the back knee down and then step that front foot. But if you're here and it's available, you'll ground down through your palms. So if you've been in my class, you will often hear me cue lifting the foot and taking it up and back rather than sliding it. And what that does is that really encourages the core to turn on, and that way you're practicing with integrity, building that core strength, building the strength into the arms, into the legs. It's a full body experience. So from here, you're lifting that right foot up and back without a sound, taking it up and back, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, open up through the hip. Inhale, lengthen through the legs, square off the hips. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then from there, of course, you could take a vinyasa if you wish. So I hope that was helpful for you. Obviously, you would do both sides just to feel what that feels like. Some things to keep in mind are keeping the hips nice and open as you start to find that extension through both arms, and really integrating the shoulders to plug in and that the shoulders are squared. What oftentimes tends to happen, and just to be mindful of, is that the shoulders tend to want to open up with the hips. So see if you can really focus on allowing the collarbones to be level while you find the opening in the hips. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Barry and I really appreciate it. Please subscribe, share with your friends. Namaste.